that are watching this live for the first time on the Gate platform, I want to show you this page. And the reason I want to show you this page is so that you can capture the other three parts. Now, to make this very clear and easy, what you need to do is go to this link up here, TraderCobb. Don't worry about the corporate bit, tradercobb.com/gate.io, and that will be shared in the chat area throughout the event. Once you register here, you'll also receive access on the next page, which says you are registered, and you'll get to see part 1, 2, and 3. Now, for many of you, you'll be jumping on part 4, but it's going to be a really good understanding of risk management and how to go about trading in a structured manner. But I do encourage all of you to go back through and watch parts 1, 2, 3, and of course, the 4th section will also be up tomorrow. So welcome for those of you who are brand new to the event. This is Gate.io with myself, Craig Cobb, and I'm the founder of TraderCobb.com. In this 4th part, we'll be looking at management of risk. We'll be looking at the mindset and how we can progress throughout to make ourselves better. Now, of course, I've been going through this week in and week out, and I've enjoyed every single step of the way. I've been trading for 15 years, and the last sort of, well, geez, was it now 3.5 years or so? I've exclusively been trading cryptocurrency. Okay, I'm here in Sydney, Australia. So shout out to everybody all over the world. And this is really about education. Okay, now with that comes our risk warning and disclaimer. Of course, this is an education providing opportunity for you, and that's what I'm here to do. I'm not here to tip you. If you follow the Gate.io YouTube page, there's social media like Twitter and whatnot, you'll get updates as to when I'm putting out my watch list videos. Now, these watch lists, again, they're not to tip you or tell you what to trade. These watch lists are built and created for those that understand this strategy. And if you haven't gone through those first 3 parts, then you'll learn it as you go. If you do not agree that this is an educational presentation, then I kindly ask you to leave. Okay, so what's going to be covered in this webinar? Well, let's first of all go through part 1. We're going to look at capital management. Now, you've heard me, or many of you will have heard me have said that when it comes to trading, it's it's like if you're somebody who sells cars for a living and you have a car yard. If you have no cars, you've got no product, and all you have is a yard. Now, that's why capital management and risk management is such an integral part of the whole process, because if you have no capital, well, you're not trading and you can't trade. Part 2 is going to come into, and part 1 of that is understanding the different areas and places where risk comes from. It may not be just the risk that you understand and think about where it comes from, but there might be some other areas as well. So what I'm doing is I'm trying to inform you as to what to look out for and how to be prepared. Part 2 is mastering your plan. As I've said before, knowing the strategy is just one element to this. I need you, and you need you, to be able to execute this plan consistently and flawlessly. Now, when I say consistently, I mean there's a set of rules. And for those of you who are watching this live and have not seen the whole series, there's a literal checklist. Now, I presented that, and it's available for you. You can go through and literally print out the slides that are the checklists. And you'll have learned all of that in part 1 and 2. It's about making sure that you're consistent in your execution of implementing those strategies correctly. And what comes into that? Well, it's not just about going through it. It's about understanding when you're not having a good day. If you're not having a good day, you don't trade. If you're having, if you feel unwell, if there's a lot going on in your life, well, you're best off not trading, because that ties into part 3, which is a positive crypto trading mindset. If you're not in the right mental state, it's going to be very difficult for you to execute flawlessly based on the rules. Because, you know, how many times have you been emotional and done the wrong thing or said the wrong thing and then had to come back and apologize? Well, you won't have to apologize to the market, because the market will just take you for what you are, whatever that happens to be on that particular day. Our objective is to make sure you have a very stable mindset, you have a very clear plan, and that you have the tools for long-term success in your own trading. So let's start off with managing your capital. And I welcome all the newcomers. It's an absolute honor and pleasure to be able to present this to you. I really appreciate this from Gate, and I look forward to seeing continued success from you guys. If you have any questions, please do just go to our website, TraderCobb.com, and ask questions in that question box that's in the bottom right-hand corner. So one of the ways that I have traded throughout my career is to make sure that I manage my risk on every single trade. Okay. Now, I know that might be a little bit foreign to some, especially if you've never traded traditional markets or legacy markets. Now, I've traded stocks, bonds, commodities, foreign exchange, you name it, I've pretty much traded it. And now I'm exclusively in cryptocurrency because of the volatility. The volatility means that we get bigger moves for the same amount of risk that we would take in any other market. But when we take risk, we need to understand what that risk is. We need to put a multiple on that, so once more, we can be consistent with our outlay. Now, I don't look to risk more than 1% per trade, okay? Now, don't get me wrong. 1% is 1% of my allocated trading portfolio. I will hold cryptos. I'll have long-term investments. I hold Bitcoin, I hold Ethereum, I hold a few other bits and pieces, right? But when it comes to actually risking on a trade, let's say I've got a $10,000 account. I'm looking to risk 1%. 1% of 10,000 is 100. That means if the trade goes against me and hits my stop loss, the amount that I'm looking to lose is roughly $100. Now, it's really important to make sure that we're uniform in our risk plan, because you are going to have winners and you are going to have losers, as was described and sort of articulated in part one, which is the coin flip. You know, you've got a head and a tail, and you know, it's 50-50. We're looking to have the advantage or the edge with our trading through going through a subsequent list of rules, which gives us or provides us with higher probability outcomes. Now, we still don't know as we take a trade whether it will be a profit or a loss. We don't have that control over the market. Just because a trade fits all the essential rules and some of the bonus factors, it doesn't mean it's going to be a profitable trade, because it's a probability play. That's what we're here to do, is create high probabilities for outcomes that we desire. And for us to make sure that our risk percentage per trade is uniform allows that edge to play out. For example, let's say we take 4 trades, yeah? Let's say that we risk 1% on 2 trades. And then on the next 2, we risk 3%. Okay, so 3% on 2 trades. Let's say that both of these trades were profits. And let's say out of that 1% that we risk, we gained 3%. Now, these 2 trades were losses. That means that we are now down 6%. Now, we may have an outcome of trades that is good in terms of 50% of our trades made us 3%, but the other 2 trades, we risk 3%. So instead of being up 1%, i.e. positive on 2 trades, which equals 3%, and negative on 2 trades, which would equal, if we were managing our risk at 1%, minus 2, that gives us a total of plus 1% if we manage our risk accordingly. If we don't, then we end up with a loss of 3%. And that's really the easiest way to describe and show and, you know, articulate the fact that risk management, a uniform risk management strategy across our trades, is really, really important, because we're not here to try and get rich off of one trade. All right. We see the market as a vehicle for us to build wealth. And for us to do that, we need to run it like a business. And running it like a business means that we have a set structure, a number of rules that we follow to. Okay. It keeps our capital losses to a minimum, and it allows us to have a point at which we go, okay, well, we're not losing too much. It takes the emotion away from our trading. So some days, you know, there's the old saying that it's a cycle of doom. I've done this before personally, and many years ago, where you find yourself saying, if I can just get back what I've lost. If you ever find yourself in that position, you need to walk away, because it can really spiral fast. And one of the major causes of people to lose their capital is over trading. Obviously, risk management falls into that, but if you're not managing your risk accordingly and you overtrade, it's a very, very, very fast spiral for failure. Okay, so we need to make sure that we keep our capital losses to a minimum, and we make sure that we work within the right conditions to allow us for good longer term gains. It does take time. Now, this is not actually factual. If you're risking 1% per trade and you lose on 100 trades, it may seem like you're out, but in actual fact, if you've got a $10,000 account and you lose on a trade, you've now got a $9,900 account if you're risking 1%. So it's kind of infinite, but you get my gist. You get the point. It would take, if you're managing your risk properly and following rules properly, it would take an awful lot for you to blow out that account. And don't worry, I have blown out many. In my earlier years, I blew out 3 trading accounts and just dusted the whole thing. That was before I had mentors. That was before I had a structured process. And that's before I ran it as a business, as opposed to just something to do. You can set your reward risk ratios however you like. Now, if you're looking at 1.5 to 2%, then that's fine. Just chip away at it. I'd say that with cryptocurrency and digital assets, we have the ability to do a lot better than that, because when the market moves, we can get some sustained, very long-term moves. And I've taught a lot of people around the world in different markets. I'll tell you right now, and the God honest truth is that with cryptocurrency, the gains, the speed in which people come up to speed and do well is a phenomenal number compared to legacy markets, because of that because of that volatility. We just need to make sure that we're playing the game when the game is meant to be played. Now we'll talk about correlated trades. Here's what I mean. Let's say we've got a trade with BTC, USDT, and we're trading. Oops. Sorry about my handwriting. It's a bit average. I know that. And let's say we're going to take that trade. We're going to go long. We're going to risk 1% of our capital. Let's say that XRP, USDT, and I'm talking about trading with margin here. We're also risking 1% on that. This now becomes correlated, because the correlation is this. It's the factor of the US dollar tether. Now, if I'm trading margin, and I do, I'll also trade perpetual futures. I'm more than happy to do so. Margin, or if you trade the futures, we read the charts exactly the same. We run our plan exactly the same. There is nothing that changes at all. What I'm looking to sort of get across here is that you want to have and look, you don't have to stick to my rules. You have to stick to what I'm showing you. It's to give you an understanding of the sorts of things that you need to be considering when it comes to having a business plan for a trader. Because you can go out, there's lots of courses that you can do that will show you double tops and triangles and sloping trend lines and pennants and whatever. As far as I'm concerned, it's, unless you've actually got a business plan created around what you're looking to achieve. And what you're looking to achieve is to be decisive. You're either a buyer or a seller. Now, the names of a pattern doesn't mean anything, as I have explained in prior episodes. What is important is how you read that, how you approach that, and to what extent you approach that. So for me, if I'm long, let's say I'm long, and look, we all are fairly clear. It hasn't been quite so much lately, with Bitcoin's dominance increasing quite significantly over the last few weeks. But if Bitcoin sets up for a long trade, well, maybe Ethereum or XRP or CRV or There's a lot of others that will also set up at the same time. Now, if we were to take all of these different options, like call it 3, 4, and 5, and they were all at 1%, and they're all against US dollar tether, then effectively we've now got 5% risk across these correlated pairs. Of course, it is essentially crypto versus a stable coin. So we need to make sure that we are aware of the correlated risk that we carry at any given time, because you know as well as I do that the market, whether we're long or short, can change so quickly. It's one of the things I love about this market. It can change so quickly. So we need to keep ahead and give ourselves rules around how much correlated risk we're willing to take. Because you might go, well, I've got 5% risk across 5 different trades, Craig. But those 5 trades are very much correlated. So I don't want you to get caught out in that process. I want you to understand, again, this is all about running a trading business. And there are dabblers out there, and some dabblers will do well. But the bottom line is, those that understand how they've made their money have the ability to continue to make money. Those that don't understand how they've made money, we call that luck. And I know a bunch of people that have bought Bitcoin back in 2011, 2012, and are worth hundreds of millions of dollars right now. They got lucky. Might have had a foresight for it, but there's a certain amount of luck that comes into that, and that's fine. Hurrah! I'm stoked for them. But what we're trying to create is something that is long term, something that you can rely on for an income. If there's been a year that's ever sort of, I guess, put an exclamation mark on that way of thinking, it's this year. I know a lot of businesses, like it used to be when you start a business, you were out on your own, therefore you were the one that was the I guess the pole bearer of your success or failure. And for some people, that's what they did. They started restaurants, bars, or different businesses. It's been 2020 and the COVID-19 crisis that has helped us to realize that at the end of the day, we can be shut down in what we do. Now, provided you have an internet connection, it doesn't matter, because you can still go into that market, and better yet, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, 365 days a year. You've got a way to make money. You have a business that is available and you can get by. And it's been a blessing in disguise, or not a blessing in disguise. It's been an absolute blessing for me to be able to do this and to be able to help others to understand this. So we've got to understand our correlated pairs. We understand the market tends to move together. If we're going to be trading 3 pairs at 1% risk each, we're carrying 3% risk. If that doesn't fit into our correlated trades or correlated risk, then we need to divide that up. We can take those 3 trades, but we need to now to split them across 0.66%, which is, your 2% across 3 trades. I hope that's made sense. We'll continue on. Again, this is an example. This is how I manage my risk. Okay. This is an unpredictable market. All markets are very unpredictable. You want to see unpredictable markets? We've got an election right now. In the next 48 hours, we're in the thick of it. If you care to look at equities and indices across the globe, you watch what happens as the votes start to come in. An election, a US presidential election, does have far-reaching arms when it comes to equities and indices across the globe. Now, I'm not sure as to how much that's going to affect our cryptocurrency and digital asset space. We've got large corporates and publicly listed companies like MicroStrategy, Square, a number of others. Fidelity's come out and spoken positively about the space. I don't know. The truth is, I don't know what our market's going to do and how it's going to react throughout a presidential election. But what I can say is that I know what I will do. I will never carry more than 3% risk on open trades. That means if I'm long Bitcoin with a 1% risk, I'm long Ethereum at 1% risk. And let's say that I'm short, I don't know, something that's falling. Let's just make something up and say XRP USDT. If none of those trades have hit my first target of 1-to-1 to minimize that the risk on that trade to 0, then I know I can't take any more trades. So I know my exposure to the market at any given time is 3%. Now, if all hell breaks loose and the market goes wild and flips around and goes crazy, well, I know that minus some slippage, I'm roughly around 3%, not 10, not 15, not 20. It's not going to hurt me too much if all of my trades get stopped out and I lose that 3% figure. There are black swan events. Okay, that's when something occurs that we had absolutely no prior knowledge or understanding. Like, it just happens. Like September 11 was a black swan event. No one could see that coming. All right. COVID in its own right was a black swan event. It sort of crept up on us, and then all of a sudden it was huge. There are black swan events, and the whole purpose of having a maximum at risk is to make sure that we are equipped that if these things do occur, it doesn't wipe us out. You may lose every open risk position. That's why we have to manage this. If you're limiting the amount of exposure you have, it's going to help you to sleep better at night, and it's going to make sure that your emotions don't go too high when mistakes actually happen. Think about this, right? When have you ever made a good decision based on emotion? 9 times out of 10. Like, I know for a fact, like, I've got a wife, I've got 2 kids. You know, if I'm too emotional on something, it's usually followed up by I'm sorry, I was out of line and I apologize for that. Very rarely, if you've got the ability to sort of reflect, very rarely does an emotional decision turn out to be the right decision. So what we're trying to do here again is manage those emotions, because emotions and trading do not mix. So if we have 3 trades open times 1%, and none of those trades have hit our first target of 1-to-1, therefore getting to break even, there's no more trades I can take. If one of those trades hits our 1-to-1 target, well, now I've got 1% more that I can work with, right? Because there's 2% still open risk over here, but one of those trades is now risk-free. So I am left with, at the bottom of that, 1% that I can work with. How you split that is up to you. I'm hoping I'm making myself clear here. I shall continue on. So when a pair runs hard, so let me give you a perfect example, right? Bitcoin. Obviously, I'm sure that you've all been watching. Bitcoin's had a fantastic run. And by the way, just on a side note to that, I did a video for you guys today on the Gate YouTube. Go and have a look at that. It wouldn't surprise me if we saw Bitcoin pull back to 12,000. It wouldn't at all. Bitcoin's been on a very, very, very strong run, and it needs to take some breathing room. It needs to pull back for the market to remain healthy so that more people can come in. But when we get a pair, like if you look at the top 10, right, Bitcoin has been the best performer over the last couple of weeks, hands down. Trend-wise, movement-wise, growth-wise, all those things, which means that sometimes you might get 3, 4, 5, 6 trades on that single pair. And I'm using Bitcoin as an example because it's the best example at the moment. So if you've got a pair you're trading, and we'll just go with Bitcoin for now, and you've taken your first trade, so the market's pulled back, you've got your entry and your stop loss, and it's moved on. It's pulled back a little bit here, and you know you've now moved your stop to here, and you've got your 1-to-1, and you've locked in your profit. Well, now as it pulls back again, well, can you trade that? Absolutely, because what you've done is you've at least created, it doesn't have to be profitable either, you've taken the risk off of that trade. And that's why I use that 1-to-1 target, i.e. if you've got a $50 stop, your first target is at $50 for half the position. Again, for those that are just jumping in for the first time, please watch through the other 3 parts to make sure that is very clear for you. You will find trends that will continue to perform time and time and time and time again. I don't want you, and I don't think it's a wise thing to do, to just sit back and watch these trades go past, because when the market's hot, it's hot. You got to capitalize. So you may end up with one trade here, another trade here, another trade here. And as they continue to break even, you might get another one up here. And that's fine. As long as you're working to a rule, which I've just put there, which is after the first trade is risk free or break even, you can then enter into another trade, and that just perpetuates itself further into the future. Now, people will give it a name. I'm not a real fan of names. For those that have been through the entire 3 parts leading to this 4th part, you will know that my objective is not to understand names. I know the name of my kids. I don't need to know the name of all my friends' kids. It's about making sure that I am aware, all right, of what's important to me. You can give something a name like a double top, a double bottom, a triple top, a head and shoulders top, a head and shoulders bottom, a pennant, a triangle. I don't care about the names. What I teach, and what many of you have understood to this point, is that it's understanding the underlying market and reading what it's telling us. You see, I see trading as a language, and you can learn a language, but if you're trying to learn, which is what many people do with all the indicators and all the different patterns and books and training and blah, blah, blah that's out there right now, you might be mixing some Russian with Spanish, with English, with Mandarin. Now, it doesn't make sense. You've got to learn a language that you are willing to commit to. Pyramiding is a word for growing a trade as it goes. For me, I kind of scrub that word out. Because if it's a trade, it's a trade. And if it fits my rules, it is a trade. If it doesn't fit my rules, I can't take that trade. And that takes away all the emotion, and it allows me to think very clearly and to be very decisive. Having several open positions at risk makes you extremely vulnerable to reversals. That's why it's got to hit risk-free before I'll take another one. It's as simple as that. I do not overcomplicate what can be a simple process. Reduce your risk when experiencing a losing streak. This is incredibly important. And by the way, sorry, I should have said this at the very beginning. I have done on all the other parts. This will be recorded again, by the way. Please take screenshots as you wish to. I have no problem with you taking screenshots of my content. No worries at all. This is a tool for you to learn and use. Okay? I don't mind. I do not mind. I, in fact, encourage it. Take what you need from me. Go into the recordings. Take what you need from me. I am here. Gate has put me here to educate you. I want you to get the most out of this, and the way to do that is to be engaged and to take the screenshots as you like. Okay. Now you're going to have days where conditions don't suit your trading style. That's fine. You're also going to have days or weeks where there's not too much that sets up. You're also going to have days and weeks where you take trades and you lose. That's the part of life. I have losing streaks. Geez, what was it? Was it 2 or 3 weeks ago? I had 3 losing trades in a row. Now you might be sitting there scoffing, going, "Oh, that's nothing." I'm not sure, but I'll be honest with you. Like my objective in my business at TraderCobb.com is not to just tell you how it's all rainbows and lollipops. Trading's tough. It doesn't need to be complicated, though. The most complex part of trading should be maintaining a good mindset. And that does take time, that does take commitment, and that does take work, and we will cover that. But one of the things that's helped me in my career, and don't forget that's a 15-year career, the last 11 full-time trading. Of course, I do have the business, so yes, I do have another source of revenue. For me, it's about when you're hot, you're hot. And the way that we manage our risk at 1%, if your 10,000 goes to 12,000, well, your 1% is now 120, not 100. So the way that I've structured this is that as we have success, we stick to the same rules, and our success perpetuates itself, and we compound our gains. But I also have a very clear way of diminishing those gains and diminishing the risk. Now, I'm going to say a few things on this reduction point. I call it a parachute. All right. So when it comes to trading, I have a parachute. And that means, as you might, be visualizing already, that when you jump out of a plane, you want to bloody well make sure you've got a parachute, right? Otherwise, you're going to hit the deck and that's all she wrote. So, and I'm not suggesting this is one that you should follow. I'm just giving you, illustrating a point so you can understand that. Before I do that, actually, I've got a question here. Apologies of basic question. One is trading at. What advice do you have for the composition of that? Read Bitcoin and or stable coins. Fluctuations in Bitcoin price can make you feel as if you've lost money when it pulls back, even though there's been an overall change to your trading account from a token perspective. It does make sense, Paul. And this is why I think it's really important. I mean, what you'll see, if you go ahead again and join the Gate YouTube page and join the TraderCobb YouTube page, subscribe to both, and make sure you follow us both on Twitter, what you will get to see is an understanding of portfolio management as well. And I want to be very, very clear on this. To be an investor is one thing. Okay, and you might wear your fundamentals hat or whatever you call that. You know, you wear different hats. I hold a lot of Bitcoin. Oh, sorry, you never hold a lot. You always want more, right? I hold a fair bit of Bitcoin and Ethereum and a few other projects. Okay, these are my investments. They are sitting safely, tucked away on a wallet. You know, nowhere near me. Trust me, nowhere near me. And they're for long term. My trading account is different to that. Now, I could hold my trading account completely in US dollar tether or completely in Bitcoin or Ethereum or whatever it may be that I'm trading. Having a good understanding for how to trade the markets means that, you know, for the last, what was it? I mean, early in the year, let me think back. The one that I got into that did me very well this year, there's been a couple, but the biggest move was Cardano. I saw something on Cardano, I think it was back in March, and I went, okay, well, I'm going to put X amount of Bitcoins into this because I think this technically on the charts looks the strongest and therefore potentially has the highest move. Now I had a stop loss in there. This is spot. This is not margin. This is just spot trading, just putting dollar for dollar. And it did very, very well. I did the same with Link and I caught the first, I think, $9. I didn't catch the rest of the move. I'll be honest with you. I didn't get the whole run up to $20 or whatever it ended up being. I did not catch that. I've had some really good runs on that. But I will tell you this, the methodology that I teach and the style that I trade is exactly the same way that I look to manage my portfolio. So your long-term portfolio may be based on fundamentals that can be sitting aside in a safe little haven, wherever you've got the safest place for it to be. But you can also have a portfolio that you actively manage as to where you hold your portfolio. Is it Bitcoin? Is it dollar tether? Is it Ethereum? Is it whatever it may be based on what it looks like? This training in this 4-part series will give you the skill set to be able to read a market for what it is. Now, when I'm looking to see where I'm going to be holding said asset class and to work out what it is, I go to my weekly charts. Okay, so the weekly chart is a chart that I am able to go into and go, well, what's the overall picture here? I use the weekly chart to hold, so as the conduit or the barometer for where I hold my trading digital assets. So let's say I've got 100 grand and I'm trading as a digital asset trading account and the rest of it's sitting over in the sidelines. I will manage that account as actively as I need to, but it won't be as active as my trading. I'll be focusing more on the weekly timeframes. That can give you a bit of an insight there, Paul, as to how I go about things. And if you want to, you can find out more. And look, for anyone who's here as well, I've got a free Facebook group. It's called the TraderCobb community. Feel free to go there and ask your questions and share and be involved. Not a problem at all. Okay. Okay, so let me come back to this. Let me get rid of that. Now, I don't think this is the way to do it, and I should change this. I really should, and I'll change it for you right now. To have 2 losing trades in a row does not mean that you've done anything wrong. Okay, think of it this way. Let's say I have 6 trades in a week. Okay, let's say out of those 6 trades, I have had 4 winners. All right. Oops, there's an R before the S. I've had 4 winners, and those 4 winners have equaled, let's say they've equaled 6% profit, all right? Now, out of those 4, I'm up 6%. Now, for the other 2 trades, I'm risking 1%. Now I've had 2 losing trades, which is down 2%. I'm still net positive 4%. But based on what I've written here, and it is my fault, it is what I've written, but I want to give you more clarity on this. I should decrease my risk to 0.8. To me, I don't see that as being good business. Why? Because I'm still not up 4%. You are going to have a seesaw of trades. You will have 10 losing trades in a row, sorry, 10 winning trades in a row, and you will have at times 10 losing trades in a row. Now, both are as highly unlikely as the other, and that's okay. It's more likely that we'll have the 10 winners in a row because of the way that we play our probabilities. I think what's more important, let me just get rid of this, and I'm going to go into as much detail as I feel is necessary. And if you are on the Gate platform, I do apologize. I don't have the ability to see your questions if you have questions. Again, go to TraderCobb.com if you need more help with that. But I would prefer to do, and look, this is the way that I look to do this. I have cutoff points, and you'll see them in just a moment, okay? If I'm down 2% in a day, I'm going to stop. I'm just going to stop. I'm going to go through and look at the screenshots of my trades, and I'll show you how to do that in a minute. If I have 6%, sorry, I've jumped the gun. If I am down 3% in a week, so that's stop. Day trading, so stop for the day. Stop for week. And if I'm 6% down in a month, oh, gee whiz. I'm sorry, my handwriting is so terrible. It's really hard to write in this bloody thing. And look, I've got to be honest, my handwriting's not good at the best of times. Let's be honest. I'm a 36-year-old man who's grown up in the computer era. Then I'll step away for the month, for the duration of the month, okay? Part of that is also to trigger me to go back and look at the trades. Have I followed my rules? Because when you've got a checklist, you have a way to measure. And when you can measure it, well, the old saying is if you can measure it, you can manage it. I'm able to then go back through the 6 trades and go, well, what's going on? Oh, sorry, it might not be the 6 trades. It might be 26 trades to be down 6%. So these are percentage multiples, by the way. I did the X instead of the percentage there. So it allows me to see if I'm on the right track or the wrong track. We need to be accountable for where we're at. We need to run this as a business. If there was any other business that you were involved in and you were, let's say, putting money into, advertising, and if the advertising keeps coming back and you keep losing money hand over fist, you're probably going to stop that channel of advertising. Without assessing, you've got to assess the data first, and you might just have, it might just be that it's not working for the time being, and it might get better later. But you need to have that point at which you parachute, you stop, you assess the circumstances and the situation, and you make a decision from that point on. No worries, Paul. So yeah, that's what I'm getting at there. It's again, it's about measuring where we are, being honest with ourselves, and working to that trading plan that this 4-part series has created for you already. And if you are new to this 4-part series, then go back through those first 3 parts, because this will make a heck of a lot more sense at that moment in time. My main point here is to have a point at which you go, okay, I need to reassess. I don't want to see you do this and go, oh, trading's not for me. Mate, you will find more people out there that will tell you that trading's a mugs game. They'll tell you it's a zero-sum game, which is not factual at all, by the way. They'll tell you that you can't do it unless you work for a bank. There's all sorts of theories and thoughts and things out there. Just the same as they would have told you that if you look at Usain Bolt, who's 6'4" or whatever he is, there's no way he should be a sprinter. He should be long distance, or he should be a bloody rower. He didn't give a shit about what they said, excuse my French. He just went and did it. There's logic, there's rules, and then there is self-management. There's no one that can tell me what I can and can't do apart from me. And I want you to take that same level of understanding for self, as in you. Everything you're taught in this 4-part series will give you everything you ever need. It's one strategy. I've got 2 more, but this strategy is the one that crops up the most. Sometimes it's just a matter of waiting for the market to give you what you want, because you're the referee. You're the referee, You're the coach, you're the banker, you're everything. Be aware of that. So let's look at some of the pathways, the successful trader's path. And I say this from somebody who has failed. Well, I shouldn't say failed, because you don't really fail until you give up, right? I can say this from a point, for those of you who haven't been through the first couple of parts, I'll tell you right now, just quickly, for the first 3 years of my trading career, lost money hand over fist. I moved to London from Australia. I spent 6 years there, and I got to work with some of the best mentors around the world. And I'm very proud of that. And I have not invented any of this stuff. I've been taught by others that have taught me. I've just made it even more simple. Anything that I don't use to make decisions, I don't have, and you won't see it. But I can tell you there's a very clean, consistent process for those that have success. And it's fairly KISS, keep it simple, stupid. You know, I was so close to giving up. I knocked back taking over my dad's company, which is a great company, because I wanted to do my own thing. And it wasn't until the last account, the third account, that I blew out. It was £9,000 at the time, and the Australian dollar was $2.60 to the sterling. And I was 21 years old. So at that time, I was probably 20, or I might have just turned 23. Something around 22, 23, when I was like, is this really for me? But I realized what I hadn't done. I just tried. I'd taken the entrepreneurial mindset and go, oh, I'll just work it out. And that's great. But in trading, there's so many variables that we're walking into a commercial kitchen with 5,000 ingredients and being told, bake this souffle, boy. You got 1 hour to bake me 10 souffles. Now, you've never tasted a souffle, seen a souffle, smelt the souffle, or seen the recipe. Out of 5,000 ingredients, what chance have you got to put them all together and get it right? Pretty much none. And that's what I found. It was so overwhelming to do it by yourself, because there's so many things to research. And you can spend an entire lifetime. I've helped people that have been trading for 15 years unsuccessfully, because they just kept on looking around at things, learning things. Process and strategy is what you need. And when I talk about process, I'm talking about a trading plan. So you must have a trading plan. And part of what I'm talking to you tonight about is that trading plan. It's also, we build the foundations in part 1. Part of that plan we just covered on, which is our risk management. It's also the type of trades we take, what we're waiting for before we would take action. Part of that plan is also routine. How does your day look? Do you trade when you're not feeling well? These are part of that plan. Now, your actual plan itself, it must have a set of rules. And I challenge you, if you're watching this and you think you're pretty good at trading, and that's great, I hope that you are successful, and you might be just watching this to add a few more strings to your bow. I really hope that's the case. I don't want anyone to fail or lose money. We all do, but I prefer that you're in a better position. You got to know what you're going to do. When are you going to enter a trade, and when you're going to exit a trade? Now, if you can't write that down on a piece of paper, if that's heavily intuitive, then I'm sorry, based on my experience, and I can only talk to my experience, I suggest that you're probably going to have a very rough road ahead of you. If you can't write down your rules, then how are you going to be consistent in your execution of those rules? You've also got to have a risk management plan. At what point are you hot, and at what point are you not? When do you step aside and realize that you've got to start to be better? When do you step aside and go, I'm losing money? There's something going on here. I'm not sure. Even if you say, I'm not sure what it is, step back. Don't hemorrhage more. And you've got to have rules in place to keep your head in a good state. Now, my objective at all times is to build my trading account through collecting data. Now, that data allows me to have the external view. Now, you might have heard in business many people saying that it's when you get to come out of the business and work on the business. Now, with my business, I can tell you the truth, like TraderCobb.com, I'm working within the business. This is the first online business that I've ever had. It's much more complicated than trading. Well, for me, it is at this point anyway. I shouldn't say it's much more complicated, just for me. It's new to me. I still haven't got myself to the point where I'm able to actually look down on the business and work out exactly what the business should do. I'm still very heavily caught up in the middle of it. And that's the fact that the point that I'm the one presenting this to you. That should say enough. It's not a member of staff. It's me, Greg Cobb, the guy who started the company. All right. My objective is to build my collateral, build my trading through assessment of data. Now, if you can't collect the data, then you've got nothing to assess, and therefore you remain inside of the business. This is why screenshots are so important, because you need to have that time on a weekend or a Monday night or a Tuesday morning or whenever it suits you to step back, look at what you have done over the last 10 trades or the last week or the last day or the last month, and look at that against something that's objective, which is a checklist. Did I truly follow those rules? Am I being true to my plan? Is this the path that I need to be on for success? These are things you need to consider. No worries, Steve. It is being recorded. No worries, mate. You can catch up again tomorrow. So this is a slide that I would like you all to take a screenshot of, and I'm going to talk you through each step, but I want you to be able to take the screenshot as I talk you through it. Let me have some water. Hang on. This is incredibly important because, look, honestly, this is trading, okay? What you see in this slide is what successful traders, and not just crypto traders. I'm a crypto trader. It's what I do full time. Obviously, as I've told you, I also run the business, but I'm still working from a home office. Thank you, COVID. But I've got 3 screens here. There's not a moment of the day where there's not a chart up in front of me. I keep an eye on things. I've got my routines. I've got it under control, right? I've been doing it a long time. One thing that I know from teaching people and from working with people that have taught me is this is what it looks like to be successful. And the bottom line is this: a lot of people spend too much time on the strategy itself, and that is covered again in part 3 about how much relevance it actually has. Emotions. We don't let emotions come into our trading. Why? My job is not to think. My job is to act. My job is to be decisive, to know what I'm doing. Now, to know what you're doing doesn't necessarily mean you're going to make money every time. To know what you're doing means you've got a structure, a plan, and an objective in mind. And that structure and plan and objective, of course, you are hoping that you're working towards something that gives you an edge that will, over 10, 15, 20, 100 trades, give you profit. But you're following something, you're not letting emotions come in. When your mate Johnny calls you up and goes, hey, listen, you should jump on this because whatever, you go, sorry, Johnny, it doesn't really float my boat. I'm a trader. I'm sticking to what I do. And that's where discipline comes in, sticking to what I do. Rules, checklists, planning, structure. There's not a business in the world that doesn't have that is successful. That's why there's management, upper management, middle management, lower management, and teams. Trading is no different. It's just that you are upper management, middle management, lower management, and the team. The other part of your team is your exchange, gate. Okay, ask questions when you don't know. Ask me questions and my team questions when you don't know. You've got to work with a strategy that's known to work. Now, I know for many of you, you do not know me from Adam. You do not know my background. I've worked with the Intercontinental Exchange, New York Stock Exchange. I've worked with some of the biggest platforms and whatnot in legacy markets over the years. I dropped all that to come into cryptocurrency. Now, the very fact that I'm speaking to you through the microphone that Gate has provided me with should hopefully show that I do have some form of credibility and I do actually know what I'm doing. So the strategy you're learning here through Gate have put me here for your benefit to learn to be a better trader. That's their investment in you, their client, which is a huge deal, by the way. It's legit. It's good. You look on their YouTube with my videos, you look on my YouTube with my videos, have a look, suss it out, get that confidence, and watch the other 3 parts if you haven't. You'll understand pretty quickly that I actually do know what I'm talking about. I'm not an influencer who happens to have a trading course. I'm a trader who's fumbling his way through running an online business. But the content is good, the strategies work. Don't have a rush to get rich quick. Now, this is something that I know is going to be, you might just pay it lip service in the sense that you go, oh, I know I'm not going to get rich quick. But the bottom line is that with crypto, by the very nature of the market, you can get rich quick. Okay, you can. And hey, look, let's applaud that. That's why I'm here. The volatility is insane. The rewards for being good at what you do they far surpass legacy markets. I can tell you that from a career trader. But the way that we make our money is not through trying to punt and thinking. It's through flawless execution of our plan, our strategy, and what we're trying to do. And part of that flawless execution comes in risk management. At the end of the day, if you've got no money, you're the guy with a car yard with no cars. You've just got a yard. Not interested in having a yard. I'm interested in making money. If I don't have capital, I can't trade. So therefore, risk management needs to be your first rule. When I take a trade, I expect a profit. I don't always make a profit. I had a trade today. I had two trades today, actually. I split 0.5% across, was it Ethereum and Cardano? I lost on them both. It was 1% risk. I took a losing trade. Does that flap me? Does it worry me? Does it concern me? No. The trade fit the rules. It was a good trade. The market just turned. I got stopped out. Big deal. I managed the risk, no problem. But I expected to make money. Big difference. That comes with confidence and ability. Focusing on the probabilities that the strategies use allows us as professional traders to do exactly what I just did then, which is, okay, I made a loss, I own it, I'll move on. I'm not scared of showing my profits. I'm not scared of showing my losses. I will not show you the numbers, and I don't tip people, and I don't show my trading results. Why? Because I did that once before and all hell broke loose. It just is not worth it. It's a glass ceiling. It opens you up to too much criticism. And look, honestly, watch through what I do, and if you don't think I'm legit, that's fine. But I'm not going to show you my trading results. It's just not going to help you. Just because you meet Lewis Hamilton, you shake his hand, he signs your hat. Does that mean now you're going to be an F1 driver? No. Lewis Hamilton's success has got nothing to do with your success, and vice versa when it comes to trading. We're going to focus on probabilities, and we're going to nail them, and we're going to do it properly, and we're going to do it without emotion, and we're going to do it with checklists. That's how we do it. Now, please do take a screenshot of this, because this is your risk management plan. Now, I do not want you to think that the length of the lines is the length of the effort you put in here. Not at all. Let me give you an example and fill this out a little bit more, but I just wanted to fit this all into one slide. My trading capital is $10,000 is not the answer here, because obviously if it's $10,000, it is what it is. It doesn't give me any value as a business person, and this is your business. My trading capital is $10,000 to start. I know that by proper risk management methodology and following the rules flawlessly, I will create an edge. That edge will either allow me, if I have the capital, to invest more into my space as my confidence and my results improve. Failing that, I know that if I am to execute properly, flawlessly, continually, I can go and raise capital from family and friends. There's a way that you can phrase this, but it's got to be yours. Dream here, guys. I was a 16-year-old dreaming when I bought my first set of shares, my first shares. They went up from 8 cents to 88 cents, then went bankrupt. I learned risk management as a 16-year-old child. I've had many more experiences learning risk management as well, because I clearly didn't learn from the first one. But I dared to dream as to what I wanted and what I could get to. You can get there, but you've got to create a path. And writing in $10,000, that is not creating a path. That is that emotion can drive you, but it shouldn't make decisions. Logic, rules, structure makes decisions, but emotion is why we have a dream board. Why I've got in front of me right now, I've got pictures of my kids. I've got a picture of a burger that my daughter drew that I think is amazing. It's stuck to my wall. I've got mottos all around me. The reason is because that gives me an emotive response to stay clear, stay true, stay strong, and focus on what I need to do every moment of every day. Give it some oomph. Risk management is important, not because I don't want to lose all my money. No. Risk management is important because all the goals that I've set myself and setting my family up, I'm talking from my own experience here, right? Setting my family up for generations to come, buying the boats, doing the game fishing tournaments that I wanted to do, traveling the world, brackets, when I'm allowed to experience new things, to have a life that's filled with adventure. That's why risk management is important, because if I don't have risk management, I don't have the money to continue to be in the game. And if I don't have the money to be in the game, then I cannot achieve any of my goals, financially speaking. The maximum risk I'm prepared to take on the trade is, tell us what it is and then give us a reason. Daily loss, tell us what it is, give us a reason. Here, I'll show you what mine looks like. I've gone straight to the day. It goes 2, 3, 6. That's me. Write it down. Make it your own. That's your risk management of wife. Craig, you made a decision to limit your trading risk between 1% to 3% from a standing start. Though your confidence, skill, and experience are so high, but you also said we may increase our risk as our confidence, skill, and success increases. Why do you limit yourself to those risk numbers? Crypto volatility, question mark. Was it different when you traded traditional markets? No. Great question, David. David, the reason that I follow the rules that I follow, these are the same rules that I followed in legacy markets. There's one reason why I've been able to take what I have done in those markets and had success in. I've got 2 children. Okay, so I'm not just when I first started, I was 21. When I hit about 24, I was doing quite well. End of 24, start of 25. I was able to travel with my laptop, trade, make money, buy stuff, party, and just live the life of Riley as a young single man. It was fantastic. But I'm not there now. I'm a 36-year-old man with an 8-year-old and a 5-year-old and a partner. I live in Bondi Beach, which is one of the most expensive parts of Sydney, and Sydney is one of the most expensive cities in the world. So when I say that I'm managing my risk, I'm not managing my risk from a point of recklessness. I am taking it from a position of caution. And it's because I understand that when I traded as a 25-year-old, the way that I traded was far more aggressive. The way that I trade now is it's higher timeframes for the most part, because I am risking in much larger numbers than back then. I've got a lot more to lose now. I've got children that are in schools. The whole world, the whole game's changed, but it changes gradually. I don't risk large numbers because one reason, it's my head. Now, if I risk 1% on the trade, now you don't know if that's $6,000 US or $600 US. Okay, it's one of the two. But for me, it's about making sure that I can execute the business. Now, because as a trader, I manage my own personal portfolio, and I also manage and run the TraderCobb portfolio as a company. So for me, it's really about staying sharp, staying on top of my game. I broke a rule last week by saying that I wasn't feeling too good. I suffer from chronic fatigue syndrome, so I was very fatigued. I said I wasn't going to trade that day. I broke a rule. I took a trade. It cost me money. I make mistakes, but I know that if I had have taken that same trade and risked 4%, we're talking 5 figures, some proper numbers there, it would hurt me. It would take longer to come back from. When it comes to cryptocurrency, I'll risk the same multiples that I would in traditional or legacy markets. It's just that the returns are far greater based on the volatility. So no, I don't. I never think I'm cutting myself short. I never get that what's it called, gambler's remorse. I think it's probably a word, where you go, oh, if I know how to put 5,000 on that horse. I never get that. Because for me, it's not about that. It's about, I know over 100 trades, if I focus on being the best I can be and trading when I'm positive and good and strong, I know that I'm going to make a lot of money. It's okay. But don't forget, I'm 15 years into this platform, so into this growth. And over the first 3 years, I wasn't very good. That's what I mean. Like, one of the sayings that I learned from one of my mentors was that people underestimate, and I know it's not from him, people underestimate what they can achieve in 10 years. So people overestimate what they can achieve in a year and underestimate what they can in 10. And people focus on the 1 year 10 times and get nowhere. Whereas if they just focused on the 10 and worked incrementally to get to that 10 years, they're going to get there anyway, unless something unfortunate happens. You may as well use that time productively, intelligently, to get to your objective, as opposed to trying to achieve it all in one day. That's my take on it, and that's why I've always managed my risk. Yes, the returns in crypto are just, I can't even tell you how much more ridiculous they are now, especially with platforms like Gate and other platforms that are available that give us margin trading stuff. Like, I never had that sort of sophistication when I first got into crypto in 2017. It was basically long only, and there was one platform where you could go short, but it was just horrendous. It was just so poor. Platforms like Gate have come up, they've stepped up. There's futures, there's margin, there's stop loss, there's so much more, and it's only going to get better, guys. Only going to get better. If the platforms are going to get better, we need to be a step ahead so that we're better, so the functionality helps us to make more safer. The minimum risk reward, make a decision on that. No worries, mate. So, you know, my minimum is 1 to 1. If I can't see that I can at least minimize my risk on a trade, I'm not taking it. I'm not going to risk, let's say, $1,000 to make 500. It's the wrong way around. It's my money. I make my choices. I make the rules. So should you. Here's the big one. If I do break my risk management rules, I will. Now, trading can be somewhat of a lonely game. That's why I've got my TraderCobb community of people that have gone through all the strategies, excuse me, and help each other. I'm in there, my mentors, my apprentices, we help each other. We work together to make it less of a lonely journey, because it can be hard. I know for a fact, because I had to do it alone myself. And sometimes you might be on the right track, but if you've got no one to talk to, you don't know you're on the right track. It can be complicated. But what I've got, so I'm an avid fisherman. I love fishing. Absolutely. Like, my whole goal in life is to buy my game boat, and not just buy the game boat. I can buy the game boat, but right now I couldn't use it because I'm too busy to have the time to use it. So for me, if I break my risk management rules, I will not fish the next time conditions permit. And that alone keeps me on track. So for example, this evening, I'm looking out my window right now. It's a beautiful afternoon here in Bondi. The swell's not good, but let's just say the swell was fine. The tides are fine. All conditions are coming good. If I broke a rule, which I did 2 weeks ago, and I've already had to exercise this, I can't go fishing. When my window opens up to go, I can't go. Now I have to keep true to that. It's got to be painful. It's got to be painful. You've got to make sure you stick to what you say, because it's so easy to just sweep it under the rug and move on. That is not what professional and successful people do. So let's go now into understanding a little bit more here. Just because you've got this strategy does not mean you're going to get my results. That works both ways. Some of my apprentices and mentors are doing far greater results than I am. They're making a lot more money because they're trading much more aggressively. They're not running a business on the side as well. They're actually just trading, and that's it. And these are the people that are in my community that are helping others. I bring them in. I mentor them on a one-to-one basis, and they give me value and my clients value. Just because you have the strategy does not mean you're going to have guaranteed success. You've got to start. Now, so a great Elon Musk, I think it was an Elon Musk, look, it doesn't matter where you start, you just have to start. 10 hours thinking about an idea and 1 hour doing it, that 1 hour is much more valuable. I know many of you that are watching and listening to this right now will have sat on the fence, not done trading, not got involved with trading because of whatever preconceptions you may have. And guess what? The problem with preconceptions is you're always right. I'm here to change your focus, shift your ability to understand what is available to you, and speed that process up. Now, you're in the position right now that you've got somebody who has been there and done that. And I dare say that there will be not too many people that will be as thick-headed as I. And I say that not in a derogatory manner towards myself, but I am very aware that I'm My father's English. I've got Yorkshire in me. I'm very stubborn. So sometimes I'll be told what might be wrong, but I'll continue to cock that up. And that was definitely my first 4 years of trading. All right. You've got somebody in front of you right now, and the rest of the 3-part series and the stuff that I continue to do with Gate is going to help you to get better faster. It's like having a coach. You want to play tennis? Well, sure. You can go, anyone go play tennis, grab a tennis racket, hire a court, get a mate and hit a ball. You want to play tennis well? You want to improve well? Well, it starts with coaching. Then what have you got to do? Well, then you've got to get an opponent who's better than you so that you are stretched. Same with surfing. Surf with guys that are better than you. Same with business. What do they say? That name your six, the 6 people within your closest group, and that's who you're going to be. It's about stepping up. You've got knowledge from me. I've made the mistakes. I am successful. I can trade. I know what I'm doing. Learn from people like myself. All right. It took me many years to get there, guys. I can help to shorten that, the learning curve by instilling in you the lessons I've learned, the structure, the way I trade, the checklists that I use, and Gate has brought me here to do exactly that, and I will give it my utmost. I can show you what to do, but it's you who decides your success. No more blame game. Oh, it's the exchange. No, it's not. Oh, it's this. No, it's not. Oh, it's this. No, it's not. If you're not getting the results that you want, it rides solely on your shoulders. I don't know any successful people that blame others. At the end of the day, I'm running a business. My business, first and foremost, is trading. I made a lot of mistakes. I lost a lot of money, but I took control and I made it work. I've made a lot of mistakes in my business. I'm still making mistakes in my business. That's TraderCobb.com. But I'm learning. It's on me. We've hired some wrong people. That's on me. Why? Because it's my business. You can't blame somebody else for mistakes that you make. It's accountability. A question. I've done all 4 sessions and I've referenced your new trading course. In terms of starting at the beginning, what do we do next to practically make that first trade? I've bought, sold, and held crypto before, but still don't quite understand how to do a margin trade. Is there a step through once we have checked off our essentials list? Yes, David. And I'll leave this aside from what we're doing tonight. But if you have any problems whatsoever, I would encourage you to please email admin@tradercobb.com. We have a number of different resources to show you exactly how to do the processes that you've been through. Now, if you've been through that free course that is on my website, please make sure you go and have a look, or go onto my YouTube channel and have a look at how to raise orders. That will make it very clear for you. We have a risk management calculator in there as well. Please do reach out. We'll help you with that. Trading crypto is different. I will say that with God honest truth. It's so much more explosive. It's a lot more that you can capture in a shorter period. It can make people that are not so great very, very great very, very quickly. And I can tell you that right now because I've seen the time it takes for someone to become a professional Forex trader, and it's years. I've seen people that have come and learned from me that have gone on and done 6, 7 figures. Sorry, I shouldn't say 7. I know high 6 figures in their first year without ever having seen a chart. So, to reiterate the fact that you got to learn, it's not the fisherman. Sorry, it's not the fishing rod that catches the fish, it's the fisherman. It's not the scalpel that does the work, it's the surgeon. Training, 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 training. That is a tool. That is a tool. That is a tool. That is a tool. Your tools don't make you good. Your learning, your education makes you good. Having the tools is important, but knowing what to do with them is more important. Strategies alone don't make you money. There's a hell of a lot more to it than that. Okay. So let's go in a positive trader mindset at this point. Now, look, most people will know that psychology is a big part of trading, but most people will pay it lip service. I've invested a lot of money You might have heard of a book called Trading in the Zone by a bloke called Mark Douglas. Now, rest in peace, Mark. I was fortunate enough through the group that I traded with, the guys that I knew all over the world, we were able to get a very small, limited amount of places to have one-to-one training on psychology from Mark Douglas. And look, by the way, if you've never read that book, Mark Douglas, Trading in the Zone. It's a great book. Read it 10 times because each time you read it, you'll find something new. And I invested a lot of money into that because he's kind of like the holy grail of trading psychology. And what I'm about to show you now are some of the lessons that I've taken from that to keep yourself in the right place. Mindset's so important because a bad trade can be a profit and you can still see it as good, but it's not. A flawlessly executed trade that fits your rules and you followed your plan can lose your money, but it's still a great trade. That's the easiest way to explain to you how important psychology and understanding of it is. If you take a trade that fits all the rules and you've stuck to everything that you said you would and it loses you money, you've still done the right thing. You take a trade, if you measure every trade by its profit, you're not going to get very far, right? A bad trade can make money. What you don't want to do is you don't want to be feeding your subconscious mind with ill actions, but positive affirmations, positive results. And it's not your conscious mind may be saying, yeah, right, I know I didn't follow the rules, would have made money, but it's that dopamine hit. Pavlov's dog with the bell, right? It's that dopamine hit that you get. You do the wrong activity, you get the right results. That's the only reason there are people that have addictions. They know it's not the right thing to do. You speak to a junkie, they don't want to be doing it, but they're influenced so much by something that's involuntary. You've got to feed yourself good process to get continued good process, to bed that in. It takes time. And that's why the most important thing for you to do right now is to learn to trade and enjoy the learning. What does Gary Vee say? He says that enjoy the process. If you enjoy the process, everything's much easier. Okay? Start by risking less. Learn. Don't be scared of having losing trades. Take screenshots, register, monitor them. Understand that all you have as a trader is probability. So bloody well learn them. Understand what probability actually means. And the structure, it doesn't just come from your checklist. It comes from so many different areas. Everything I do, and the trading strategy is the most, I guess, probably structured of the structure because it's a checklist. Make checklists for everything. I tell my team, you want me to do something? Because I don't know what I don't know, so I employ people that do it. So you want me to do something? Send me a checklist. I am a process-driven beast. Tell me what you need, exactly how you want it, and I will create that. Show me how to do it. This is the way you should be seeing yourself as a trader. Need help? Just come and ask. TraderCobb.com, boom, hit us up, ask us. If it's something about the Gate platform, ask them. Get involved with your success. Get involved in it. Flawless execution. What does that actually look like? And please take a screenshot of this that you see in front of you. First and foremost, you need a strategy that makes sense to you. And for those that have just tuned in and have not seen parts 1, 2, and 3, again, I will ask, please go and click on the links. I'm not in control of sending the links out, but I am very aware that they are being sent out. TraderCobb.com/gate.io. Register there. You'll be taken to the page where you can watch the recordings. And I believe my good friend Diksha will be sending out those links as we speak or throughout this particular presentation. That's where you're going to get your strategy, and that's where you're going to learn if it makes sense to you. Now, I've not met too many people where this doesn't make sense, and it's because I see things in a very logical sense. You can buy, you can sell. Let's work back from that as opposed to let's convolute everything in complicated bits and bobs that don't really make sense to us and then try. No, own it, feel it, live it, breathe it, get it. When you get it, you're more inclined to do. Then you're going to have the written rules, which we teach in part 3. So get those rules in place so you can't overthink your trade. Don't overthink. Your job as a trader is not to be an analyst. I worked in an office with 4 of us. It was myself, Andy, and, oh God, I forgot the bloke's name. The other bloke was an analyst. He'd got a big bonus from working with one of the big financial institutions in London, and he was setting himself up to be a trader. Now, when the market moved, he'd say, why? He'd spend the next hour asking and working out all the reasons why, because his background was being an analyst. Now, I'm not saying that if you're an analyst, you can't be a trader. I'm just saying that forget the why. You're not an engineer of financial markets. You don't need to know why. You need to know what to do. We'd be in and out of our trades before this bloke could even tell us why. We didn't care why. We acted. We took decisions. We made decisions. Take screenshots of each of your trades, for goodness sake. It's free to do, and it will teach you more than you will ever know. You will not know the power of doing that until you start to actually do it. Then you can review it daily, weekly, monthly, whatever floats your boat. You have that compared against a written checklist. If you can measure it, you can manage it. Seek out mentors. Find people that do the same thing as you. That's why we have our community. You know, I've got mentors that you can use. I've got people in that community that will be there for you. Ask the questions. These are the same strategies that you're learning right now. Okay? Get your head around what flawless execution means, and then focus your entire energy on doing so, because process-driven gives outcomes. Outcomes then can be measured if you take screenshots, managed, and improved. This is a business. I am not here to teach you technical analysis. No. You go and spend 25 bucks and learn that if you want, but you get what you pay for. Gates paying me to provide you with this. You got a Rolls Royce, excuse the ego. You know, what is it? Champagne tastes on a beer budget. That's what we say in Australia anyway. You've got the ability right here, right now. Please, for goodness, I mean, I speak with a lot of passion because I am passionate about this. My objective is to help others. Look, don't get me wrong, I want to have a profitable business too. But truly, I would have made more money without starting the business and just trading at this stage. I hope to change that. I'm genuinely passionate about helping other people unlock an understanding for financial markets and a way to make money where you, like, you know, when I was trading full time and that's all I did without the business, I'm a spear fisherman. I'm a fisherman. I got 2 kids. I was raising my kids when they weren't at school. I was diving, surfing. I had the life of Riley, but I just got bored. Mentally, I wasn't stimulated. It gets to a point where you go, okay, yeah, I can pull the trigger. I can make money, but there's more to it than that. And this is where I stand right now, looking to take that next step. Be aware, be open to asking questions, be open to making mistakes, because guess what? Anyone who knows what they're doing knows the mistakes are where the growth is. So let's go through some of these common mistakes, and you're going to forget a ton of these, by the way, but it's about, you know, you play Mario Kart and you see the bloke in front of you, he's got the green little shell. Well, if the green shell's hanging out the back and he's holding the A button down, then you want to make sure you're not in line with that, do you? So it allows you to have the understanding of, okay, maybe something I should be aware of. So a lot of people think. Don't think, do. And if you're having to think too much, then minimize your risk, because thinking will not help you. Doing will. Action. Take action. Results come from doing. If you haven't got skin in the game, you can't learn. Now, doing is not pressing buttons to take trades. Doing could be something as simple as doing a scan, which, by the way, the time of day, night, morning, whatever, I started this particular webinar tonight. In 48 hours, I will be doing a scan of the gate products for margin trading. Come, join me. I will show you exactly how I go about scanning a market. Majority of my day is spent scanning a market. I do it 5 days a week, every business day, for my clients. A number of different lists. Trading is not the outcome. Searching is. If you find yourself over trading, and please, I have to say this because we have rules in place for making sure that we don't take too much risk or whatever, you know, the correlated risk, the open risk at any given time, the risk that we take per trade. This is all designed to stop you over trading. Most people fail because they overtrade. Like I said, that saying of, oh, if I can just get back what I've lost. No, can't do that. You ever say that to yourself, you need to stop, close your trades, turn your computer off, and go and do something better with your life, because that pulls you into a place that you do not want to go to. Been there before, and that's how I lost my accounts. Do not do it. The other thing that's important is going out and watching every YouTube video and watching every bloody influencer. By the way, let me just say one thing about these influencers, and I know that there's a lot of them out there. I know some are great. I'm not taking the mickey. I'm saying to you this: if you want to learn to trade, you want to find someone who's a trader and has committed their life to it. If you want to find somebody who has got a great YouTube or great presence on Twitter or whatever, great. Go and follow the people that have heaps of followers, because they've probably got a plan for how to get that. I'm terrible when it comes to those things. I'm terrible because my whole life's been focused on being a bloody trader. Anyone that can help me with that stuff, it'll help me. I'm also not saying that just because someone has an audience, they're not good. That is not my objective here. Focus on what you want. Don't focus on learning everything, because everything gets you nowhere. You're like Bambi. When Bambi first went on the ice and was skirting around and spinning all over the shop, that's what you end up being. Sliding all over the place without an idea. Focus on what you want. Find those. And if it's not me, fine. But invest the time to find what works for you. Chasing a trade. The amount of trades I take at market, as in market buy or market sell, are very, 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 very infrequent. We should be using orders. And the reason I say using orders, that could be a buy stop or a limit. The reason we use orders is because it allows us, if we're raising an order, it means we've had the time to do our checklist, do our risk management, to raise the order and know our stop loss and the size of the trade we're going to take. It doesn't encourage rushing. Rushing, tell you when you make your mistakes, when you're rushing. Think about the times when you're rushing at the door and you forgot your laptop. It's a perfect example of what happens in trading. Now, I have dropped an extra zero on a trade before, many times before. If I don't raise an order, I won't take the trade 99.9 times out of 100. I know it's not the solution. I know it's not the recipe for success. If you miss a trade, don't worry, let it go. There'll be another one. Just because you read something, heard something, I follow people on Instagram, on Twitter, more for news feed. Do I make decisions on what another person's opinion is? Absolutely not. Not when it comes to trading. Do I read something of an opinion piece and think, oh, I need to go and buy that, therefore? No, I do not. Why? Because I'm responsible for my income. I'm responsible for my portfolio, and I'm responsible for my family. I'm not putting that in the hands of someone else that I don't know. I don't know what their objectives are or their ulterior motives. Not to say there may be any. I'm just saying the buck stops with me and the buck stops with you. Two things I need you to understand is this. The market can and will go higher than you expect. The market can and will go lower than you expect. So don't expect anything and don't question it. Trade your rules, because the rules are there to guide you. Technical analysis is not a magic crystal ball. It's an opportunity to get you in and out, to go long and short. We work probabilities. That's what we do. Don't question it. Do it. Stick to all these rules. And you think, well, hang on, how long will I do it for? Well, think about this. What have we covered tonight? There's cutoff points, there's correlation points, there's times to minimize, there's times to walk away. Everything that I teach, not just the strategy and the planning of what type of trader you'll be and all this, it always comes, it's a business in a box here, guys. I've thought of everything because I've had to, because this is the way I run my trading business. All right. Don't question things until it comes to questioning the trades you took against the checklist. Your experience will develop, your understanding will develop, and therefore you'll move forward. Here's a great one. I hear people like before COVID, of course, I used to travel around the world and do talks and all that sort of thing. Get people, oh, are you crazy if you use a stop loss in crypto, Craig? Why? Well, they always get hit. It's not the stop loss's fault. Don't forget, a stop loss is the brakes on your car. The reason you have brakes is because you wish to stop. The reason we use a stop loss is because we want to minimize our risk. It's not the stop loss's fault. It's your fault. If you don't think stop losses are good and you're trading, long-term investments, whatever, do whatever you want. That is not my kettle of fish. I'm not. I don't have a course on that because I know when I'm not. I'm not going to just bust out. I could do a course right now, and make some money off of that, but it's not my expertise. I'm not going to do that. The dollar doesn't drive me. Okay, I've made money. I'm cool. I can trade. It's okay. I'm comfortable. All right. The bottom line is stop losses are important. And if you're finding that you're getting stopped out a lot, you need to get better. Don't focus on profits. And I could do a whole webinar on this because for a number of years in my life and on and off, like I have slipped back into periods where I focused on profits, not for the last, not for the last 7 years. Because I've learned my lesson so many times. Like I said, I'm a bit thick. I do need to learn from making mistakes more than once usually. And I'll own that. That's just who I am, and I'm comfortable with who I am, and I'm comfortable with where I'm at. When you focus on making money, you tend to get the opposite. When you focus on process, you tend to get money. There's nothing more to say on that. It's that simple. Entering a trade when you believe in negative outcome. Now, why would you do that? Why would you do that? Well, think about this. Tips. This is what I'm nailing in here is tips. You got your mate Johnny down the bar, down at the pub. Johnny, I'm talking as an Australian here, so apologies if this doesn't make too much sense, but you can, give the analogy in your own world, in your own country, in your own culture. Johnny down the pub has always got a tip on a Friday. Every once a month, he gives you a tip, and you go, "Oh, I've taken the last 4." And Johnny goes, "I've got another one." And you go, "Johnny, the last 4 have been losers." And all your mates go, "Oh, geez, come on. All right, I'll go again." And you're not going to. Now, all of a sudden, you think, well, Johnny's going to lose, but everyone else is doing it. And if I don't take this one and it does pay off, I'll be the one that's out. I'll take it. I don't think it's going to work out, but I'll take it. That's what I mean here. Don't take a trade or position or an investment based on anything other than what you know. Do I take tips? No. I had 1,000 people in 2018, I think it was, 18, or maybe early 19, telling me about Chainlink. And look, we know what Chainlink's done. It's just gone on to do fantastic things. But I didn't buy it because I'm not just going to take someone's advice. I traded Chainlink, but I didn't buy it just because someone told me to. Because if you did that, wow, you'd hold everything under the sun. The other thing that also does is it tells you that you're wrong. If you go into a position, you go, look, I'm not very good at this. Oh, I lost more money. Yeah, I've confirmed my thoughts. I can't do this, so therefore I'll give up and go back to my life. You can do anything. It's up to you. If you think a winning trade is automatically a good trade and a losing trade is automatically a bad trade, you've got to change that mindset, man. Like I've told you a few times, I've in the last, what are we now in, oh my goodness, November, holy crap, Christmas time. What are the kids going to get? Oh gosh. Oh, sorry, I've just gone on a tangent. I was July, I think it was June or July, I can't remember the exact month, but I was down, I had to look at my risk management plan. I was down 4 trades in a row, and I took a Cardano trade that delivered me 30 to 1. Now, of course, that trade made me a lot more than my losing trades. It made me a lot of money by most people's standards anyway, certainly by mine. But I took that trade. because it fit the rules and it got everything back. So you don't know when your big winners are coming. That's why we manage our risk, to keep our mindset in check. Because if I didn't take that trade because I was feeling nervous, scared, worried, concerned of having another loss, well, imagine not taking that trade and it returns me 30 times my risk multiple. So let's say 1,000, make the math easy, that's $30,000. Imagine not taking that. So now I've got the prospect of, okay, I've had a few losing trades in a row, plus I psyched myself out, didn't take that trade that would have got me all that money back and put me in massive profit. Now I've got to go and find another trade. See how it messes with your mind? You can't have that. Focus on trading well. Blaming other people. Don't blame people. It's on you. Simple as that. Live to learn. Live to learn. Accept mistakes. Manage risk. Ask questions. Be involved. Mistakes are the only way you're going to learn. And if you don't take records of every trade, you cannot learn in a free environment. I'm telling you right now, ladies and gentlemen, that when I had a mentor, I was forced to do that. And when I was forced to do that, because I was lazy, I just took trades and didn't take screenshots. When I was forced to do that and forced to give reviews and send those reviews in to my mentor, and this is a mentor, like, this is not some, slouch. This is a guy that, it took me over 18 months to get the attention of this person. This was part of the things that I had to do. I can tell you now, of the people that are in my apprentice groups, all of them have gone on to do really well. I don't take many because I know how much work it takes to get somebody to that point, to really listen and learn. Keep your records, guys. You're your biggest benefit. Don't take tips. I'll just leave it at that. Do not take tips. I do not know a single successful person that's gone, oh, Jordan, how have you made your money? Taking tips from people. Think about how ridiculous that sounds. And then you can understand next time someone gives you a tip, how ridiculous. Look, if someone gives you information on something, research it. I've got no problem, but make it your own decision. I can't talk about patience enough. You're going to need a lot of it. Okay, you're going to need a lot of it. Oh, man. Learning to be patient. If you put aside an hour a day or 2 hours a day or whatever, people go, oh, I can't trade because I don't spend all day. I haven't got all day to do it. You think I've got all day to trade? Truthfully, I do. If, I've got a pact with my business partners and my team that if the markets are giving me good conditions, I will focus on trading because I'll make a lot of money doing that, right? But I can tell you now that I trade windows. And if you want to know what windows are, go back through the first 3 parts and go to TraderCobb.com and get the free course. Absolutely free. It will only embed further what's being taught on this particular presentation across a 4-part series. Missing trades is not a thing. Leaving trades is a thing. You've got to understand that there will always be another trade. Don't FOMO. Don't freak out. Don't worry. Don't look back and go, I missed that. It was 2 o'clock in the morning and I was asleep. I missed that trade. How can you miss a trade when you're looking after your mind, body, and soul by sleeping? You can't miss a trade. You can only miss a trade if you saw the trade and went, I think I'll take this trade, and for some reason didn't stick to your rules because you psyched yourself out. That's missing a trade, not you weren't there to take it. Without patience, you're not going to get yourself in that zone you need to be. And you've got to also remember this. It's a very corny sounding saying, but it's the truth. The tallest tree in the forest starts with setting roots, and it starts with a bloody seed. From where I was to where I am has taken time. I didn't have this sort of opportunity that you have now. I had to source out and work for people to get in their company and then build their trust, to then get their opportunities, to learn from them. In this day and age, I mean, we're talking, we're talking pretty much 20 years from when I started to be interested in markets. Oh, hang on. Yeah, 20 years from when I was interested in markets. From 21, I was trying to trade. It takes time. Now you've got the massive leg up now because we've got online. Like, I mean, back then, yeah, there was online, but I tell you what, it was the beginning of online broking, online trading. Man, the world is at our fingertips right now. The hardest thing we've got is to disseminate what the bullshit is and what the truth is. Gates put me on. Hopefully you see the truth. Keeping records, this is incredibly important. Keep screenshots of your trades. And when I say this, I mean live screenshots. When you find the trade, you raise the orders, then you take the screenshot. Why? I don't want you to go back through the charts and go, oh yeah, I saw that here. And no. You've got to see the chart as it looked at the moment you made that decision, because that's where you need to go back and look at your screenshot. So look at your trading checklist and go, oh yeah, okay. You need to capture that moment in time. It's important to do that. Going over data alone won't help. If you show the trade, the pair, the risk, the entry, the stop, the target, that's going to give you some data. Yeah, just pure number data. But we're technical trading. We're discretionary trading off of rules. You need to see what you did at the time. Because I'll tell you right now, even for me now, I'll look back on my screenshots and go, what? That clearly wasn't conversion on the 8 hour, and I'm taking the trade in the 4. Why did I take that? What it shows you is what you're willing to skim over in your own mind, if that makes sense. What you're willing to ignore to give you that dopamine hit to make you feel good about doing what you do. And that is more important than anything, because it gives you that view into your subconscious. It allows you to work on the business, not in it, because we can all justify our own decisions in that moment. Our objective is to make sure that we're making the right decisions in that moment, and by having that feedback loop, that's how we do that. Screenshots of the exact moment is exactly what you want. And I will say this, don't make them too complicated. Snap a quick screenshot, throw it in the PowerPoint or Word, or I don't know, whatever you do. I'm pretty old school. I'm very bad with technology, so I just use what I use. But make it easy. Don't make the process painful, because it sucks enough as it is. It's not the fun part of trading, guys. It's just the most rewarding part. Okay, it's not the fun part. It's like doing stock take. If you run a business where you've got stock in a shop, you don't want to do that shit, but it's so important. You need to know what's selling. The items that are selling, restock, because they're the ones that are making you your money. What's not selling? Well, don't order more of that stuff. It's simple business logic applied to trading. How do you do it? Well, when it comes to a PC, this is how you do it. You go down, you search the little Windows thing down here, and you write snipping tool, bada bing, there it is. You capture the moment, bam, it's done. Cut and paste, Control C, Control V, drop it in. If you're using a Mac, you're off your head. Just joking. If you're using a Mac, Command Shift 4, whatever. I don't really know. I don't use a Mac. Weekly and monthly self-analysis. Review yourself, keep yourself honest, keep yourself true, focus on process, and hold yourself accountable. That's probably pretty bloody good advice for anything that we ever do, whether it be sport to business. The best teams in the world have a coach. You're no different. Seek out those that can help you. Now, if you can't afford to have a one-on-one experience with someone like myself, and look, no one can, because I just don't offer it. I've got too much on. I just don't have the ability to do that. I do have a great community. Get in there, get involved, ask questions. If you've got some early stage questions, go to my website, TraderCobb.com. Question box in the right-hand corner. You'll speak with Reese. If it's not Reese, it'll be another member of my team. Reese is a full-time trader. The reason we take screenshots of our trades is to keep notes for growth. If we have no screenshots, we simply can't review. So how do you keep going on this journey? Well, I would suggest going through what we've already covered. Go through the 3 parts in the series tomorrow morning, or tomorrow at some stage, depending on where you are in the world. We will have part 4 up there once you have registered, and Dixie will have obviously shared that link with you again. Follow Gate on Twitter. Subscribe and hit the bell on YouTube for both Gates and TraderCobb. You'll get to see the scans. You'll see what I'm looking at. Tap into this. It's a free resource for you. Okay, watch what I do on the scan. 48 hours from when we started this evening, I will be doing a scan live on the gate pairs. See how I go through. It's like a mine. You put dirt in one end in the top and you get gold at the back. Process driven outcomes, and that's what I'll show you how to do. That's what the scanning process is, to find what's going on. Register, go through, register, go through it again as you need to. Now, ladies and gentlemen, that is the end of our 4-part series. There will be more videos this week if you follow Gate on Twitter, all right? You'll see this, follow their socials. There will be a scan on Wednesday. Following on from that, I would absolutely love to continue to provide you and produce content for everybody there at Gate, but for the time being, you have what you have right now. Please do fill your boots, as I often say, get involved. I can say from the absolute, I guess what I'm saying is this, right? That all the presenting stuff aside, anybody who's watching this right now, you have got what I believe to be truthful for myself, the most incredible opportunity, and probably the most incredible opportunity that you're going to see in your lifetime by being in this market. That's one thing, being in this market. Now, anyone who went through 2017, 18 knows that you can still buy things and lose money. This is not about buying things. This is about being involved in a market, understanding your objectives, planning and running a business. Now, I have given the last 4 parts, including tonight, my all. A lot of analogies, hopefully a couple of laughs, a bit of fun in there as well. I follow it up with more content that you can readily access. I've got a free course on my website, TraderCobb.com. This will only help to sharpen what we've taught you on this particular course through Gate. I genuinely want the best for you and my clients. It's coming from a position of abundance. The more people I can help to achieve their goals, they're going to help me achieve mine. That's why I give it my all, and that's why I'm the one who runs these contracts. If you want to learn to trade, if you want to find a way for you, and you could only, if you only focus on a weekly chart, that's fine, because trades still exist that follow the same methodology as I teach. You've got an opportunity with me. I know what to do. Okay, I can give you the strategy like I have done in this series. I've got 2 others. I can help you, but you need to want it. You need to do the work. It's up to you, guys. It's changed. Like the returns that I've been getting from crypto since I've been in, even in a bear market, have completely outstripped any desire for me to ever, even in January when the stock market was falling heavily, and I spoke with my parents and tried to get them out of their portfolios because I could see it coming. I just happened to get the timing right. I don't always get timing right, by the way. I still didn't trade it, even though I could see what was likely to come, because this market is so much more sexy, has so much more potential. I want you to understand that. I want you to do well. Tell me what you need. Help me with whatever it is that I need to help you with. I love you. I appreciate your time. I'll see if there's any questions. Thank you, Paul. And thank you to everybody out there. And again, the God honest truth is, I'm going to go put my kids to bed. But I want you to succeed. Okay. So does Gate. That's why I'm here. Guys, enjoy the recordings. It'll be up again tomorrow. Make sure you're involved. Get on the TraderCobb platform, TraderCobb.com. Get on my YouTube. Get on the Gate Twitter and YouTube pages. Make sure you subscribe. Turn on your notifications so that when I do a piece, you're aware of it. Let's work together to get you where you want to be. And if this was just something that was fun viewing and you don't wish to trade at all, well, I hope it was fun viewing. I think the world of you, everybody that I haven't met before, which is nearly everybody. I just want you to know I got your back. Let's work together, make it happen. Guys, Have a fantastic evening, morning, afternoon, whatever it may be. Call your mates, make sure they're okay. It's been a really rough year. You know, there's nothing more important right now than to know who loves you and to know others to let others know you love them. It's a really tough year. Please be there for each other. Mental health's taking a real battering. Be good to each other. Love you very much, and I'll speak to you soon. Bye for now.